Four corners. Charting your course. Tina Kafka. Get ready to explore. Do you like to explore city parks or go camping? Do you like walking? If so, this guide will help you make the most of your outdoor adventures. You can find out how to make useful tools. Some of these tools will help you measure and forecast the weather, and other tools will help you find your way. Before you set out on your next adventure, be prepared. Remember to tell an adult where you plan to go, or ask an adult to join in the fun. Ensure that you have the right tools for exploring. Measuring weather. How much fun we have outdoors can depend upon the weather. Scientists who study the weather are called meteorologists. These scientists use different instruments to measure and predict changes in the weather. They use thermometers to measure changes in temperature and barometers to measure air pressure. You can find out how to study the weather so that you'll always be prepared, rain or shine. Meteorologists forecast, make predictions about the weather. Why a thermometer? Before you go camping or on a walk, it is always a good idea to check the temperature. Then you'll know what kind of clothes to wear or take with you. The steps on pages 6 and 7 will show you how to make a simple thermometer. Your homemade thermometer will show changes in the temperature from day to day. You can use it with a purchased thermometer to find the exact temperature in degrees. As the air becomes warmer, the liquid in a thermometer expands and moves up the tube. When the air is cooler, the liquid contracts and moves down the tube. High temperature. Fahrenheit. Degrees. Alcohol or mercury. Low temperature, Celsius. Safety with mercury. The liquid inside some thermometers, mercury, is very dangerous. Never touch or breathe in mercury. If mercury leaks or spills from your thermometer, stand back and call an adult immediately. How to make a thermometer. Materials. A small glass bottle. Cold water. Food coloring. A clear straw. Modeling clay. Scissors. 5 by 8 centimeters strip of construction paper. Red and black markers. A purchased thermometer. Procedure. 1. Fill the bottle approximately 2/3 full with cold water. Then add a few drops of food coloring. 2. Put the straw into the bottle so that its tip dips into the water. 3. Press modeling clay around the straw in the bottle's opening to seal the straw in place. 4. Blow air gently into the straw until, when you stop blowing, the water rises about halfway up the straw. 5. Fold the strip of construction paper in half and cut 4 slits. Unfold the paper and slide it over the straw. 6. Make a black mark on the paper next to the water level. Check the temperature on the purchased thermometer and write it near the black mark. 7. Place your homemade thermometer and the purchased thermometer in a warm place. Leave them there for 30 to 60 minutes. 8. Mark the water level in red and write the temperature number by it, as you did in step 6. 9. Place the 2 thermometers in a cold place. Wait 30 to 60 minutes. Mark the water level in blue and write the temperature. Top tips. Here are hot and cold places where you could try out your thermometer. In a sunny window. Beside a heater. Near an air conditioner. In a refrigerator. In a greenhouse. Temperature measurements. Thermometers measure temperature in degrees. The Celsius temperature scale is named after Anders Celsius, a Swedish astronomer. The Celsius scale is also called the centigrade scale because it is divided into 100 degrees. The Fahrenheit scale is named after the German physicist Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit, who invented the mercury thermometer in 1714. Celsius, Fahrenheit. Think about it. What causes the water to move in the straw in your homemade thermometer? If you measure the air temperature in different places both inside and outside, how does it change? Remember to let the thermometer sit in each place for at least 30 minutes. Your thermometer should only be used in places where the temperature is above 0 degrees Celsius. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, which could cause the thermometer to break. Why a barometer? Before you take a trip, it would be helpful to know if the weather will be sunny or cloudy. A barometer is an instrument that helps predict the weather. It measures air pressure, which is the weight of air pressing down on Earth. The steps on page 10 will show you how to read a barometer. You will then be able to tell when the air pressure rises, which usually means fine weather. You will also be able to tell when the air pressure falls, which usually means cloudy or rainy weather. Weather condition, movable pointer, barometric pressure, dial barometer. Mercury barometer. How heavy is air? Earth is wrapped in a layer of air that is many kilometers in depth. It is made up of gases that are invisible. Although air cannot be seen, it still has weight. The air that surrounds Earth weighs over 5 quadrillion tons. Earth's atmosphere as seen from space. How to read a barometer. There are different kinds of barometers. Two kinds that people might have at home are the water barometer or the dial barometer. They are read differently. A water barometer is read by noting changes in how high or low the water rises in the tube. Low pressure will cause the water level to rise. High pressure will cause the water level to go down. Water barometer. Materials. A purchased water barometer and a dial barometer. Dial barometer. Procedure. 1. Listen to your local weather forecast to find out what the air pressure, or barometric pressure, is for your area on a clear day. Use this number to mark a starting point on the water barometer. The number should be the same as what the dial barometer shows. 2. Find the needle in the center of the dial barometer. Then read the numbers around the edge of the dial. The needle should be pointing to a number that could be anywhere between 28 and 31. This is the barometric pressure. The barometer reads very dry, predicting fair weather. The barometric pressure falls and reads rain. Think about it. Why do the barometer's readings vary? What does your barometer do when a storm threatens? How barometers were invented. The barometer was invented by an Italian scientist, Evangelista Torricelli, in the 1640s. At first, Torricelli used water in a tube that was closed at the top. Then he used mercury. He saw that the height of the mercury in the tube changed from day to day. He discovered that this happened because of changes in atmospheric pressure, or pressure of the air. Evangelista Torricelli. Weather symbols. Sunny. Rainy. Windy. Hail. Thunderstorm. Partly cloudy. Snow. Cloudy. Charting the weather. You can make a weather chart to see how changes in temperature and air pressure affect the weather. You can record each day's temperature, air pressure, and weather conditions. After a week or two, compare the data. Materials. A thermometer. A barometer. A large sheet of paper. Colored pencils or markers. A ruler. Procedure. 1. Decide on the number of days over which you plan to observe the weather. Rule this number of columns plus one more. Then draw 4 rows across the sheet of paper. 2. Draw the symbols you wish to use to show the weather conditions on your chart. You can use the ones shown on page 12 or you can create your own. 3. Observe the weather each day. Record the type of weather on your chart. 4. Place the thermometer and barometer in a safe place outside. Observe the temperature and barometer readings each day, and record them on your chart. Think about it. When you read your weather chart, what changes can you see? Did any temperature or air pressure changes occur before the weather changed? How would the changes help you to forecast the weather? Things to take with you. Before you go on a walk or a trip, you need to know in which direction you will travel. Are you going to go north, south, east, or west? A compass will help you find your way. On pages 17 and 18 you can find out how to make a compass from materials you probably have at home. Another tool you can use as you go exploring is a periscope. A periscope is a long tube with a mirror at each end. Periscopes can help you to look over high objects and around corners. You can find out how to make a periscope on pages 20 and 21. These people are using periscopes to look over the heads of people in a crowd. How to read and use a compass. Materials. A purchased compass. Compass point. Needle. Degrees. Dial. Procedure. 1. Find the letters N, E, S, and W around the dial or the edge of the compass. The letters stand for north, east, south, and west. 2. Locate the needle that spins in the middle of the compass. The needle is a magnet that always points north and south. One half of the needle is usually red or marked with an N to show north. Find the north point of the needle. How does a compass work? Many compasses have only one moving part, a needle, that is actually a magnet. Because of Earth's magnetic forces, one end of a compass needle always points north and the other end south. By matching the needle with the N on the dial, you can find out which way is north, south, east, and west. This process is known as getting your bearings. Direction line. 3. Find the direction line or arrow. In some compasses this line lies outside the dial. Turn the dial so that the direction in which you want to go, such as east, lines up with the direction line. 4. Hold the compass steady in your hand and keep away from metal objects. Metal objects may be magnetic, which will affect the needle's accuracy. 5. Turn yourself so that the north end of the needle points towards the N on the compass dial. The direction line now shows in which direction you should walk. 6. If your compass does not have a dial that turns or a direction arrow, hold the compass in front of you. Turn yourself around until the north end of the needle lines up with the N on the compass face. How to make a compass. Now that you know how to read a compass, you are ready to make one of your own. The most important piece of equipment you will need is a small magnet. If you always have a magnet with you when you explore, you may be able to find the other materials needed to make a compass almost anywhere. Materials. A magna. T. A small bowl of water. A sewing needle. A marker. Tape. A purchased compass. A piece of cork. Top tips. When you magnetize a piece of metal, such as a needle, it will stay magnetic only for a short time. A magnet may become demagnetized if the needle becomes hot or is dropped. If this happens, just magnetize the needle again. Procedure. 1. Rub one pole of the magnet against the needle, going from the needle's tip to its eye. Repeat this approximately 30 times. 2. Tape the needle to the center of the cork. 3. Float the cork in the dish of water. The cork will turn so that the needle points north and south. Use your purchased compass to see which direction is north. 4. Mark the cork with an N so that it will be easy to tell which end of the needle points north. 5. Work out and mark where south is on the cork. South is opposite north at the other end of the cork. Then work out and mark where east and west are. 6. Use your homemade compass to find directions at school or at home. Safety with compasses. A homemade compass is good to use inside your home or school. However, when you go on a trip, you should always be with a teacher or other adult and use a purchased compass. Practice using your compass outside. Remember to keep the bowl steady as you walk. Walk for a few minutes, stop and get your bearings. Change direction and walk for a few more minutes. Stop and get your bearings again. Repeat this activity a few times. Soon you'll be a compass expert. Think about it. Why do you think it is important that the compass is kept level and steady? How would you use the compass to find the north side of your school's playground? How does a periscope work? A periscope has two mirrors fitted to it. The mirrors are tilted so that light reflects from the top mirror down to the bottom mirror, and from there to the person's eye. This enables the person to see above them. How to make a periscope. Materials. A small cardboard triangle. A tall empty milk or juice carton. Scissors. A sharp pencil. A ruler. Point two small mirrors, slightly wider than the carton. Ask an adult to help you with this activity. Procedure. 1. Use a cardboard triangle to help you rule two parallel, diagonal lines. One line should be near the top of the carton and the other near the base. 2. Carefully cut a slot along each line that is just wide enough for a mirror to fit through. 3. Turn the carton over and draw two lines on the other side, directly opposite the slots you have already cut. Cut slots along these lines, too. 4. Carefully push the mirrors into the slots. The mirrors should face each other, top mirror facing down, bottom mirror facing up, and fit snugly. 5. Draw a large square at the top of the carton in front of the top mirror. Carefully cut out the square. 6. Make a small hole with a pencil in the back of your periscope. The hole should be level with the bottom mirror. Now you are ready to peer around corners and see over walls. Practice using your periscope around the house and discover just how useful a periscope can be. Think about it. When would it be very difficult to use a periscope to see things? How could you make a periscope so that you could see what was behind you? Periscopes. Periscopes can be different lengths. The longer the periscope, the smaller the image seen through the eye hole. Periscopes in submarines have lenses between the mirrors to magnify the image, making it appear closer and larger. Adventure awaits. Now you know how to make and use some of the tools that every explorer needs. With the help of an adult, you're ready to plan your next adventure. You know how to check the weather before you leave, and you can use a compass to help you stay on course. You also have a periscope to make exploring more fun. You could teach a friend what you have learned before setting out on your next adventure. Glossary. Air pressure. The force with which air is pressing down on Earth and on everything in the atmosphere. Barometers. Instruments that measure air pressure. Compass. An instrument that shows direction. Contracts. Draws together or becomes smaller. Degrees. Units of measure. Demagnetized. Has lost the ability to attract iron. Expands. Makes or becomes larger. Lenses. Pieces of glass or plastic curved on one or both sides that make objects appear larger. Magnet. A metal that attracts iron. Meteorologists. Scientists who study the weather. Periscope. An instrument for seeing things that are not directly in sight. Quadrillion. 1,000,000,000. Thermometers. Instruments that measure temperature. Weather. The state of the atmosphere at a given place and time, described as temperature, rainfall, wind. And so on.